Chapter 127. Malin's original name is Qian Rushua. Malin paused, and then nodded, though she didn't know how Yili could tell. I am indeed not from Anambase City. 1 am the daughter of the 10th elder of the Warrior Alliance. And my name is not Malin. Malin told Yili. What is your name? Yili asked slowly. Qian Rushua, Malin said. Yili smiled, thinking that the name was quite nice. What is your purpose for coming to Anambase City? Yili asked. Qian Rushua pondered for a few seconds, and then looked at Yili. To find the dragon-slaying blade. Yili naturally knew that Qian Rushua must have had a purpose for coming to Anambase City, but he hadn't expected it to be for the dragon-slaying blade. Since you know that the dragon-slaying blade is in my hands, why didn't you report it to the Warrior Alliance? Yili asked slowly. Qian Rushua didn't know how to answer. She indeed hadn't reported it to the Warrior Alliance, because Yili had saved her life. In half a month, Cloud Peak Academy will come to recruit students in Anambase City. Xiao Hui and Yun Man will probably go to Cloud Peak Academy, and one will also return to the Warrior Alliance. Yili thought that the dragon-slaying blade was indeed a tricky weapon. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead had known that he had the dragon-slaying blade, and he couldn't stay in Anambase City all the time. What should he do? Yili thought he needed to stir up some trouble in Huangjiang Base City. Otherwise, the dark race would surely attack Anambase City again. Let's go out. Soon, Yili and Qian Rushua left the ward. Yili followed the group to the Yun family, where Yun Mu treated Yili with the best feast. Senior, Yun Man and I are planning to go to Cloud Peak Academy. What do you think? Xiao Hui asked Yili. Cloud Peak Academy was one of the 3 major academies established by the Warrior Alliance, attracting many elite youths in the apocalypse. Very good. People go to higher places, and water flows to lower places, Yili said slowly. But senior, one don't want to leave you. One want to see you often, Xiao Hui said unhappily. Yili smiled. Don't worry. It won't be long before you can see me frequently. After the meal, Yili left Anambase City. Although Xiao Hui, Yun Man, and Qian Rushua were reluctant to part with him, he had to do it. After leaving Anambase City, Yili used the swift steps to rush towards Huangjiang Base City. After reaching Pan City, Yili released Alda and the others. After the zombies that attacked Anambase City retreated, more zombies appeared in Pan City. When the zombies saw humans, they naturally rushed over. Alda immediately knocked down hundreds of zombies in an instant. Yili used the synthesis grid in his mind to synthesize these zombies. He came to Anambase City to stir up trouble, and let the dark race know that he had arrived in Pan City. As he synthesized zombies along the way, he continued to advance. Before long, he encountered a member of the dark race. It was another humanoid mantis creature, and Yili couldn't help but chuckle. The humanoid mantis creature was dumbfounded when he saw Yili, as if he had seen a ghost. He had followed the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead in attacking Anambase City, and would never forget the extraordinary demeanor of Yili that day. Now that same person was standing in front of him. You. The 3rd-tier humanoid mantis creature couldn't even speak a complete sentence. Die, Yili said slowly. What other fate awaited the humanoid mantis creature, except for death? Chapter 128. Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead Yili swung the dragon-slaying blade, and the humanoid mantis creature bid farewell to this world forever. Yili let Ada and the others attract zombies, while he continued to synthesize. Soon, he synthesized a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Roar! A furious roar suddenly echoed in Yili's ears. After the roar, a minotaur appeared beside Yili. It was actually a Tier 4 minotaur. The minotaur held a huge axe and stared at Yili fiercely. Human, I didn't expect you to dare to come to Pan City. Yili was somewhat puzzled. This minotaur was only Tier 4, yet he dared to appear in front of Yili? This was very different from the humanoid mantis creature from earlier. Shut up. Just call all of your people out, Yili said slowly to the Tier 4 minotaur. The minotaur sneered. Human, you really have some guts. Afterward, more than 10 minotaurs appeared in front of Yili, ranging from Tier 3 to Tier 4. Yili was surprised. How could they dare to appear with such weak strength? Human, are you afraid? The Tier 4 Minotaur looked proudly at Yi Li. Yi Li found it somewhat boring, and looked at the Minotaur indifferently. What makes you think you can challenge my Apocalypse Legion? He thought that this Tier 4 Minotaur must be a fool. Otherwise, it wouldn't act like this. Kill them. Yi Li ordered the Apocalypse Legion, and they instantly attacked the Minotaurs. These more than 10 Minotaurs were shocked. The Tier 4 Minotaur hurriedly shouted, "My lord, help!" But no one came to their aid, and the more than 10 Minotaurs were instantly killed by Ada and the others. Yi Li smiled faintly, then turned his head slightly to look behind him. "Come out. How long do you want to hide?" "Not bad. The owner of the dragon-slaying blade is indeed formidable." A strange voice reached Yi Li's ear. Yi Li fixed his eyes and found that it was the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead that attacked Ananbase City. Now that Yi Li was already a Tier 6 evolved being, and Ada and the others were all Tier 6 zombies, this Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead was nothing to be feared. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead kept staring at the dragon-slaying blade in Yi Li's hand. Although there was no flesh on the skeleton's face, it still revealed a greedy smile. "Human, hand over the dragon-slaying blade, and I might spare your life." The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead stared at Yi Li and said. Yi Li smiled calmly. "Just with you, it's far from enough." "Hee hee." The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead sneered. "What if we join in?" Suddenly another voice rang. Yi Li followed the voice, and saw that various dark race members from Pan City had arrived. Over 1,000 Tier 3 to Tier 4 dark race members surrounded Yi Li. Still not enough. Yi Li shook his head slowly. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead was enraged. "Human, although you have 3 Tier 6 zombies, we have so many people, and we won't be afraid of you." "Not enough, not enough," Yi Li said, shaking his head. "You." The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead stared fixedly at Yi Li. "In front of my Apocalypse Legion, not to mention you small fries, even if your master comes, what do I, Yi Li, have to fear?" Yi Li said calmly. Hearing this, the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead became so angry that it gnashed its teeth. "Attack!" With the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead's command, over 1,000 dark race members surrounded the Apocalypse Legion. Chapter 129. On a killing spree following the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead's command, over 1,000 dark race members rushed towards Yi Li. The dragon-slaying blade in Yi Li's hand was already radiating a chilling aura. Ada, Hong Yi, Bai Wawa, and Yutong were ready, waiting for Yi Li's orders. "Attack!" Yi Li coldly shouted. They were all at Tier 6 now, and these dark race members were at most Tier 3 or Tier 4. High Yi Li's eyes, they were pitifully weak. Swish! 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 Yi Li swung his blade several times, and a chilling aura struck first, followed by a surge of sword energy like a dragon. Instantly, dozens of dark race members were reduced to nothingness. Ada's silver fist gloves were called the Supreme Boxing Gloves. Each punch seemed to be able to shatter the space, and with the addition of the 4 elemental powers of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, it was truly terrifying. Hong Ye's Frost Chi, upgraded to a B-grade skill, froze the dark race members, turning them into ice sculptures. Bai Wawa's absolute defense, facing only Tier 3 to 4 dark race members, was impenetrable. In addition to absolute defense, he also had the Qilin foot, which made the ground tremble with each step. With the petrification skill, Yutong was like Medusa. As beams of light shot from her eyes, she turned the dark race members into stone. Although there were over 1,000 dark race members with absolute numerical advantage, unfortunately, they were facing a force that could easily annihilate them. The wails of the dark race members kept coming, making it a chilling scene. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead saw this, and was frightened to the core. This was too terrifying. Although they were all at Tier 6, there were over 1,000 dark race members. At this moment, the situation was completely one-sided. Seeing this, the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead couldn't help but want to retreat. It stared at the dragon-slaying blade in Yi Li's hand. If it obtained this blade, and offered it to the Dark Temple, the rewards it would receive would be unimaginable. Yi Li leaped into the air, soaring more than 10 meters off the ground. Raising the dragon-slaying blade high, he shouted, "Flame blade technique!" In an instant, countless blades of fire swept toward the dark race members on the ground, ruthlessly devouring them. At this point, the entire Pan City streets had turned into a sea of fire. Seeing this, the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead couldn't help but escape in madness. It also understood one truth. Yili was a madman, a complete madman. At this moment, over 1,000 dark race members were all annihilated. Yili didn't chase after the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead. His goal had been achieved. They would not attack Anon Base City again, after knowing that Yili had arrived in Pan City. Ding! Congratulations! The host has obtained a chance for a random draw. Would the host like to use it? Yes. The pointer began to spin on the roulette wheel, and stopped a few seconds later. Congratulations! The host has drawn a chance to upgrade all skills to grade. Yili was slightly stunned at the news. This was too heaven-defying. Without much thought, he merged the opportunity to upgrade all skills to grade. Ding! Flame Blade Technique upgraded to grade. Ancient Devil Tome upgraded to the 2nd level. Earth-Shattering Fist upgraded to grade. Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning upgraded to grade. Frost Chi upgraded to grade. Absolute Defense upgraded to grade. Qilin Foot upgraded to grade. Petrification upgraded to grade. Chapter 130. Students of Cloud Peak Academy. Yili thought that with this opportunity to upgrade all skills to grade, the overall strength of the Legion of the Apocalypse had been raised to a new level. Now, the Ancient Devil Tome had also reached the 2nd level, and he even felt that he could fight a Tier 7 evolved being. After the Tier 6 skeleton undead escaped for its life, it would probably bring even more formidable dark race members. However, Yili was not afraid. Ding! Due to the host's slaughter of so many dark race members, congratulations, you have obtained a super treasure chest. Yili was delighted, thinking that this reward was a bit excessive. He opened the super treasure chest. Congratulations, the host has obtained a super treasure map. Another super treasure map. Yili's face was full of surprise. He wondered what super treasure he would discover this time. He activated the super treasure map. A set of coordinates appeared in his mind. The location was some distance away from Huangjiang Base City. Time was of the essence. Yili followed the coordinates and rushed there using Swift Steps. Swift Steps was incredibly fast, covering 10,000 steps during the day and 8,000 steps at night. After traveling for 3 days and 3 nights, Yili finally arrived at the destination. He looked at the place before him and found it was a primitive forest. The forest was filled with poisonous insects and fierce beasts, especially in the apocalypse, where they were all infected by the zombie virus and became even more ferocious. Yili didn't rush in. Instead, he took out a box of food from the system space and began to eat and drink. The zombies produced treasure chests every day, and after so many days, Yili's system space had accumulated many boxes of food. After finishing his meal, Yili led his Apocalypse Legion into the primitive forest. Despite it being noon, Yili felt a chilling aura, and the trees inside the forest seemed strange. Not long after walking, he heard the sounds of a fight. Yili approached and found a man and a woman fighting against a girl. They were all dressed in student uniforms with the words Cloud Peak Academy on them. It seemed they were students from Cloud Peak Academy. Cloud Peak Academy was one of the top academies established by the Warrior Alliance, gathering the elite of the apocalypse. Lu Qingxue, I advise you to stop resisting. You can't beat us. The boy and the girl looked smug, and their vicious expressions showed they were not good people. You are taking personal revenge. This time we came out of Cloud Peak Academy to find the Heavenly Tower. Lu Qingxue said coldly. Yili was taken aback at the mention of Heavenly Tower. Could it be that the Heavenly Tower existed in this primitive forest? The Heavenly Tower was also one of the 10 great divine weapons. Both the Warrior Alliance and the Dark Temple were currently searching for the 10 great divine weapons. However, the continent was vast, and finding the 10 great divine weapons was like finding a needle in the ocean. Lu Qingxue, you have always looked down on everyone in Cloud Peak Academy. Me and Chuaning have disliked you for a long time, But we never had the chance. Now the opportunity has finally come, the girl said with a cold smile. Yili looked at the three people's realm. They were all Tier 2 evolved beings. With their ages, they could definitely be called geniuses among geniuses. From the spiritual energy they used during their fight, all of them possessed S-grade genetic talents. Lu Qingxue, give up resistance. You can't beat me in Chuaning. When you die, I'll tell the academy that you were killed by the dark race members. The girl said, unable to hold back her laughter. Chapter 131. You can leave. I want to save her. Yili contemplated whether he should save Lu Qingxue. After a few seconds of contemplation, he decided that he should. After all, meeting someone was fate, and who knows, Lu Qingxue might even know the specific location of the Heavenly Tower. Lu Qingxue resumed her fight with the boy and the girl. They were all Tier 2 evolved beings with S-grade genetic talents. There was no way Lu Qingxue could withstand the attacks from the two of them. Suddenly, the girl landed a heavy palm on Lu Qingxue's body, causing her to be sent flying backward, spewing out a mouthful of blood. I told you to give up your resistance. Why don't you listen? The girl's face revealed a touch of cruelty. Yili looked at the cold expression on the girl's face and couldn't help but wonder. She was just a young girl. But why was she so heartless? Goodbye, Lu Qingxue, the Ice Queen of Cloud Peak Academy. The girl finished speaking and released a terrifying purple aura from her palm. Lu Qingxue knew that she was powerless to resist this palm and could only close her eyes, waiting for death to come. At this critical moment, a handsome figure appeared before Lu Qingxue. He stood in front of Lu Qingxue without any intention of resisting, letting the purple aura crash into his body. What? Seeing this, the boy and girl were astonished and stared at the person standing in front of Lu Qingxue. They saw a young man in his 20s, with an exceptionally handsome appearance, wearing a faint smile on his face. At the same time, Alda, Hongye Bai Wawa and Yutong also arrived at Yili's side. The boy and girl were scared out of their wits. How is this possible? Next to this young man were 4 Tier 6 zombies. The eyes of a Tier 6 zombie were red, making them easy to identify. Lu Qingxue opened her eyes, her cold face showing surprise as she looked at the back of the person blocking in front of her. Are you a member of the dark race? The girl looked at Yili in horror and asked. I am Yili, not a member of the dark race. Yili shook his head slowly. However, how could the two geniuses from Cloud Peak Academy believe Yili's words? Since he controlled the zombies, he must be a member of the dark race. Moreover, he had 4 Tier 6 zombies with him. You can leave, I want to save her. Yili spoke slowly. Yili had no grudges against this boy and girl. And of course, he didn't mind killing them either. He didn't have any principles when doing things. Lu Qingxue, I never expected you to collude with the dark race. I really underestimated you. When I return to Cloud Peak Academy, one will definitely tell the teacher about what happened today. Chuaning, let's go. After the girl finished speaking, she prepared to leave. Wait. Yili suddenly called out to them. The boy and girl were stunned, turned back and looked at Yili in horror, fearing that he would change his mind and not let them leave. I said I'm not a member of the dark race. You don't believe me? Yili looked at the boy and girl calmly. The boy and girl were shocked at Yili's words. They saw the indifference in Yili's face and sensed the killing intent hidden in his eyes. There was an awe-inspiring aura surrounding him. Senior, we believe you. We believe you. That's good. You can leave. The boy and girl felt relieved at Yili's words and quickly fled from the scene. Yili turned slowly and looked at Lu Qingxue. Chapter 132:1 a.m. A demon. Yili noticed that Lu Qingxue was very beautiful, her cold and frosty face mixed with a touch of astonishment. Come. Before Yili could speak, Lu Qingxue spoke first. Come. Yili was a little puzzled, not understanding what Lu Qingxue meant. Lu Qingxue looked at Yili coldly. One know you are a powerful member of the dark race, and you can even control such high-level zombies. You want to kill me, right? Then come. After speaking, Lu Qingxue closed her eyes. Yili shook his head inwardly thinking, one clearly saved you, but you act like you know everything. Also, why do people always think I'm a member of the dark race? When did I say I wanted to kill you? Yili said. Lu Qingxue was taken aback by his words. She opened her eyes and looked at Yili in surprise. Yili knew what she was thinking, but he had no interest in finding out. He activated his healing technique, and a golden aura flowed into Lu Qingxue's wound. In an instant, Lu Qingxue's injuries healed, and the spiritual power she had previously consumed was restored. Lu Qingxue was stunned again. She couldn't understand why Yili would do this. Weren't members of the dark race supposed to be heartless killers? Get up and tell me where the heavenly tower is, Yili said calmly. After Lu Qingxue got up, she shook her head. One don't know where the heavenly tower is. We came out of Cloud Peak Academy, and just wanted to try our luck here. Lu Qingxue's voice was cold, so cold that it didn't sound like a voice a person could utter. Yili had already guessed this, but he had just asked casually. Since the location of the super treasure map was in this primitive forest, there must be something good inside. What is this place called? Yili asked again. This is the Black Cloud Forest. Lu Qingxue answered. Yili thought for a moment. The Black Cloud Forest must be quite large. How could he find the treasure here? You really aren't a member of the dark race? Lu Qingxue couldn't help but ask. From her conversation with Yili, she really didn't think he was a member of the dark race. I am not a member of the dark race, but I am more formidable than the dark race, Yili said lightly. Lu Qingxue was once again stunned. Were there even more powerful existences beyond the dark race? If one must be classified as something, I should be considered a demon. Yili spoke slowly. As Yili said this, his face was calm, but Lu Qingxue's heart was thrown into waves of shock. A demon? This was a novel term she had never heard before, but it gave her a strong sense of shock. Yili felt that ever since the ancient devil tome reached the second level, he no longer felt like a human. The term demon was most suitable to describe him now. Are you leaving or staying with me? Yili asked Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was very curious. She didn't understand what a demon was, but she knew that Yili was very mysterious and could control 4 Tier 6 zombies. Seeing that Lu Qingxue didn't say anything, Yili took a step forward, and Ada, Hongya, Baiwawa and Yutong followed closely. Lu Qingxue felt that Yili was emitting a demonic power that was attracting her. This was a feeling she had never experienced before. After hesitating for a few seconds, she decided to follow him. Yili thought that the Black Cloud Forest was too vast, but he didn't care. He would try his luck. He had forgotten that the Black Cloud Forest was a primitive forest filled with poisonous insects and ferocious beasts. Before him, a giant toad blocked his path. Chapter 133, I can kill it with my eyes. Yili observed the giant toad. It weighed over 100 caddies and probably had less than first-tier strength, but it seemed quite arrogant. The toad looked at Yili and his group, its eyes shining, and its mouth constantly drooling. Soon the toad let out several calls. In no time, dozens of giant toads with enormous bodies surrounded them. Yili found it amusing. It was his first time seeing so many large toads at once. It was quite interesting. Suddenly, dozens of toads pounced towards Yili. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Yili's index finger moved like a rapid-fire machine gun, continuously releasing golden spiritual light. These toads couldn't withstand Yili's one young finger at all, and were instantly pierced through. Seeing this, Lu Qingxue took several steps back. She remembered that a golden spiritual light had entered her body through Yili's palm, and then her injuries had healed. Now, she saw the terrifying golden spiritual light coming from his fingertips, and she couldn't imagine how powerful Yili was. Moreover, Lu Qingxue suddenly thought of something. She recalled that the corresponding genetic talent for golden spiritual power seemed to be SSS grade. Thinking of this, Lu Qingxue looked at Yili's back and knew that he was definitely not a member of the dark race. Dark race members did not possess genes. In this world, there was actually someone like him. These toads are quite interesting, Yili said, a touch of interest appearing on his face. He never imagined that the toads infected with the zombie virus could grow so big and weigh over 100 caddies. It was beyond anyone's expectations. Let's continue, Yili said calmly. Then, Yili and Lu Qingxue continued to move forward. Roar! A loud roar echoed. This roar shook the ground, and Yi Li's face was full of interest. He wanted to see what kind of creature had come this time. A few seconds later, a huge white ape rushed out. This white ape was probably 30 feet tall, with bulging muscles, making it look terrifying. The king of the Black Cloud Forest, the diamond white ape. Lu Qingxue couldn't help but exclaim. Yi Li had never heard of the king of the Black Cloud Forest, the diamond white ape. He only knew that this diamond white ape was in the 4th tier. Being at the 4th tier meant that it was weak. The diamond white ape stared coldly at Yi Li and Lu Qingxue, as if they had trespassed its territory, and it was very angry. Yi Li's face remained calm as water. He looked at the somewhat frightened Lu Qingxue and said slowly, "Do you believe that I can kill this diamond white ape with my eyes?" Lu Qingxue was taken aback. She couldn't have imagined that Yi Li would say such a thing at this moment. Yi Li smiled inwardly. He knew that Lu Qingxue wouldn't believe him. If he wanted her to believe, it was simple: prove it with facts. Roar! The diamond white ape beat its chest vigorously, and then it charged fiercely towards Yi Li. It seemed to be attacking first. Yi Li activated his heavenly spirit eyes, which could also be used offensively. In an instant, 2 beams of golden light shot out from Yi Li's eyes. Swish! When the diamond white ape was only a few steps away from Yi Li, its body suddenly stopped, its eyes full of disbelief. Lu Qingxue was dumbfounded. The diamond white ape, known for its strong defense, was actually penetrated like this? The diamond white ape fell heavily to the ground, leaving a deep pit on impact. I said I could kill it with my eyes. Yi Li looked at the astonished Lu Qingxue and spoke slowly. Chapter 134. Black Dragon Pool. Upon hearing Yi Li's words, Lu Qingxue was taken aback. When they came to the Black Cloud Forest from the Cloud Peak Academy, they had done some research on it. The biggest threat in the Black Cloud Forest was the 4th tier diamond white ape. Its defense was extremely strong, and could even fight against 5th tier evolved beings. In other words, Lu Qingxue widened her eyes. In other words, Yi Li was very likely a 6th tier evolved being, but he was only around 20 years old. Lu Qingxue was stunned, truly stunned. Such a peerless genius, not to mention meeting one. She had never even heard of anyone like that. Without dwelling on it, Yi Li continued forward with the Apocalypse Legion. Lu Qingxue followed closely behind, and arrived at a place with standing stones resembling knives and boulders resembling tigers. There was something strange about this place. Roar! Another loud roar echoed. As the saying went, the clouds resemble dragons, while the wind is like tigers. After the roar, a huge tiger appeared. Yi Li had encountered a tiger during the test of the dragon-slaying blade. Thinking that he might get to eat tiger meat again, a hint of excitement appeared on his face. However, what Yi Li didn't expect was that it was a freaking mechanical tiger. This mechanical tiger was 10 meters long, with eyes as bright as lightning, emitting a faint cold light. Yi Li found it a bit boring. He had thought he could eat tiger meat again, but it turned out to be a mechanical tiger. Which one of you is going to take it down? Yi Li said nonchalantly. Ada Hongyi, Bai Wawa, and Yutong discussed it among themselves. In the end, Ada took action. After all, he was the captain of the Apocalypse Legion. Ada's strike was truly earth-shattering. He struck the head of the mechanical tiger with the earth-shattering fist, and the 10-meter-long mechanical tiger instantly fell to the ground and died. After all, it was only in the 4th tier. Lu Qingxue was one of the geniuses of the Cloud Peak Academy, and was very proud. Many geniuses of the same realm in the academy didn't like her, because of her arrogance. She knew she had the capital to be proud, because she had become a 2nd-tier evolved being at the age of 18, and had an SSS-grade genetic talent. But now she realized that her so-called pride was nothing compared to Yi Li. He was the sun in the sky, while she was just a grain of rice. Yi Li thought that Huangjiang Base City was only slightly stronger than Anan Base City. How much stronger could the creatures in the Black Cloud Forest of Huangjiang Base City be? Behind this strange rock forest, there was an icy pool. The water in the pool was green, and one could tell at a glance that it was unfathomably deep. Senior, this is the Black Dragon Pool. It seems that there is a dragon inside, but it won't come out easily. Lu King's tone became more respectful. She knew that her so-called talent was just a joke in Yili's eyes. A dragon? Yili fell silent for a few seconds, thinking about the taste of dragon meat. Thinking of this, Yili decided to explore the black dragon pool. The treasure might be inside. Since there is a dragon inside, let's go down and take a look, Yili said to Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was taken aback. No, senior. The water in the black dragon pool is bone-chilling, and one can't resist such cold. Yili also thought it was true. The chill of the water could be seen with the naked eye. It seemed that Lu Qingxue had put in a lot of effort before coming to the Black Cloud Forest. He opened the Point Mall and checked if there was any solution. He originally only had 290,000 points left, but after the battle in Anan Base City, his points increased to 800,000. Soon, a potion appeared in Yili's eyes. Water Avoidance Potion. After drinking it, one can move in water as if on land and resist extreme cold or heat. Price, 2,000 points. Chapter 135. Evil Hole at the bottom of the pool with 800,000 points. Yili naturally didn't care about the 2,000-point water avoidance potion. He spent 12,000 points to buy 6 water avoidance potions. Just to be safe, he even got one for Hongya, although she was not afraid of the cold. He handed 5 water avoidance potions to the 4 zombies of the Apocalypse Legion and Lu Qingxue, telling them to drink it. After drinking this, you won't be afraid of the cold water in the Black Dragon Pool, Yili said slowly. Lu Qingxue was stunned, feeling nothing but shock in her heart. She truly couldn't fathom why someone like Yili could exist in this world. The water in the Black Dragon Pool was bone-chillingly cold. Even an evolved being would freeze to death if they entered it, let alone ordinary people. Yet, Yili casually took out a few potions, and after drinking them, they would be immune to the freezing cold of the Black Dragon Pool. Was he an all-powerful being? After drinking the potion, Lu Qingxue didn't feel any changes in her body. She looked at Yili cautiously. Senior, Lan Qingxue had to be cautious because after drinking the water avoidance potion, her body didn't undergo any substantial changes. Let's go down, Yili said. As he spoke, Yili plunged into the Black Dragon Pool. Ada Hongyi, Bai Wawa, and Yutong followed suit. Lu Qingxue swallowed her saliva and stared at the chilling water of the Black Dragon Pool. She didn't dare to jump down like this. Instead, she dipped a finger into the water to test it. With a touch, she was taken aback. Her finger felt as if it were immersed in ordinary water. A resolute look appeared on Lu Qingxue's cold and frosty face. She bravely jumped into the Black Dragon Pool. At this moment, Yi Li and the Apocalypse Legion had reached the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. He estimated that it was about 100 meters deep, and the bottom was empty with nothing. Lu Qingxue also reached the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. Even now, she still found it hard to believe that she could reach the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. She would rather believe that the dark race would occupy all the base cities tomorrow than believe that she could reach the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. The spiritual energy here is so rich, Lu Qingxue exclaimed. The spiritual energy here was several times denser than on the spiritual land of the Cloud Peak Academy. If one cultivated here, their progress would be much faster. Yili remained expressionless. He didn't need spiritual energy to cultivate. The density of the spiritual energy at the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool had nothing to do with him. What he cared about now was the location of the dragon. You said there's a dragon in the Black Dragon Pool. Where is it? Yili looked at Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was slightly stunned. She had only heard that there was a dragon in the Black Dragon Pool, but didn't know the specific location. Yili sighed inwardly, thinking that in the end, he had to do everything himself. Leading Ada and the others, Yili began to search at the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. If they didn't find the dragon, the creature was lucky. But if they did, then that dragon would be doomed to an unlucky fate. Huh, senior, there's a hole over there. Lu Qingxue pointed with her finger, looking surprised. Yili followed the direction of Lu Qingxue's finger, and indeed found a hole. Activating the heavenly spirit eyes, he saw that it was filled with evil energy in the hole, and there seemed to be something quite terrifying in it. A faint smile appeared on his face. He thought that the treasures from the super treasure map We're probably in this hole. Chapter 136, 7th Tier Black Dragon. Let's go and take a look, Yili said calmly. The group then walked to the entrance of the cave. After drinking the water avoidance potion, walking at the bottom of the pool was like walking on land. Yili looked at the entrance of the cave. It was not large, but definitely not small. Waves of evil energy emanated from inside, making people shudder in fear. Senior, why do I feel this cave is so terrifying? Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li with horror. Lu Qingxue was only a 2nd-tier evolved being, and even Yi Li felt there was something terrifying inside, not to mention Lu Qingxue. It'll protect you. Yi Li looked at Lan Qingxue and said. Lan Qingxue was somewhat startled, looking at Yi Li's face, unsure how to interpret his words. It'll protect you? In other words, he was reassuring her that as long as he was around, she would be safe, right? For some reason, Lan Qingxue felt a fluttering sensation in her heart, like a little deer leaping in her heart. Her originally icy-cold face turned slightly rosy, and Yi Li naturally noticed this scene, though he had recently transmigrated to this parallel world. Whether it was Yun Man, Qian Ruxue, Xiao Hui, Su Suner, or Lu Qian, wasn't the way they looked at him the same as how Lan Qingxue did. Although he didn't really believe in love at first sight, he knew that Lan Qingxue had already developed feelings for him, at some point unintentionally. Let's go inside, Yi Li said. With that, Yi Li and the Apocalypse Legion entered the cave, and Lu Qingxue quickly followed. Inside the cave was like a bottomless black hole, with pitch-black darkness surrounding them, making them unable to see their own fingers. An eerie feeling kept haunting them. Unfortunately, Yi Li had the heavenly spirit eyes, which allowed him to see in the darkness as clearly as in broad daylight. His eyes were like bright stars in the night sky. Yi Li kept moving forward, feeling that the evil energy was becoming stronger, and a faint light appeared ahead. Thinking that the evil creature might be close, Yi Li was eager to find out what it was. If it was the black dragon that had been lurking in the black dragon pool, that would be great. Lu Qingxue's face had turned pale from the extreme evil energy, and she had never been to such a terrifying place before. The light became brighter and brighter. After walking for a long time, Yi Li finally arrived at the source of the light. It turned out to be another hole. Yi Li walked out of this hole, and found a whole new world outside. Lu Qingxue walked out of the hole, and saw the scene before her. Her already pale face turned even paler. Before her eyes was a piece of black land covered with bones, and there were dozens of blood rivers flowing through it. The sky was densely covered with dark clouds, and black lightning struck the black land continuously. Slap, slap, slap. A black dragon dozens of meters long was flying rapidly in the cloudy sky. Yi Li's face remained unchanged, as if he hadn't seen the scene in front of him. Roar! The black dragon, dozens of meters long, noticed Yi Li's group and quickly flew to a place tens of meters away from Yi Li. The black dragon landed on the black land and stared coldly at Yi Li and his group, shooting a wicked and evil glare from its eyes. Hee. Unexpectedly, after all these years, there are still humans setting foot in this place. It has been at least several decades since I last ate a human. Yi Li looked at the black dragon. It was in the 7th tier. The 7th tier was indeed formidable, but not invincible. Now that he had the dragon-slaying blade and the ancient devil tome, he was confident in dealing with this dragon. Chapter 137. The Dark Race's power to control zombies with the dragon-slaying blade and the ancient devil tome's second layer. Even though he might not be able to defeat this 7th tier black dragon, he still had 4 6th tier mutated zombies. The key point was that it was challenging. After transmigrating, it was the first time Yi Li encountered such a challenging opponent. The demonic aura of the ancient devil tome made him a little restless. The black dragon suddenly became puzzled. Human, you are quite strange. Oh, how strange. Yi Li looked at the black dragon indifferently. The black dragon had a sinister aura, while he had a demonic aura. He did not activate the ancient devil tome. Otherwise, with the horror of the second level of the ancient devil tome, he would definitely suppress the sinister aura of the black dragon. He had never activated the ancient devil tome before. It was unnecessary in the past, But now the opportunity had come, and he wanted to see the effect. Human, your body does not have the aura of the dark race, but it seems to have the human aura mixed with something else. But you can control 4 6th-tier zombies, which puzzles me. The black dragon stared at Yili and said. The apocalypse had been going on for 100 years. The black dragon was also of the dark race, and came to the black dragon pool to cultivate a few decades ago. Yili looked at the black dragon calmly and slowly spoke. There are many things in this world that you cannot understand. In other words, you are like a frog in a well, unaware of how vast the heavens and earth truly are. As soon as this was said, Lu Qingxue was stunned. Although she didn't know the realm of this black dragon, she knew that its realm must far surpass her imagination. It seemed that an earth-shattering battle was about to begin. Upon hearing Yi Li's words, the black dragon's eyes shot a terrifying evil light. Human, don't think that you can defeat me with just you and 4 6th-tier zombies. Now I'll let you know that only the dark race can truly control zombies. As he spoke, the black dragon's pupils emitted another evil light. This evil light had no attacking power. Instead, it attached itself to Ada, Hongye by Wawa and Yutong. The black dragon didn't have to do this, but he felt that this human was too arrogant, and he wanted to show him how terrifying the power of the dark race controlling zombies could be. Now, I command you to attack this human, but do not kill him. The black dragon coldly ordered all Das group. As for Lu Qingxue, the black dragon just ignored her, simply because she was too weak, just like a speck of dust. The black dragon was quite smug now. The zombie virus was created by their dark race. Although he didn't know how this strange human could control these 4 6th-tier zombies, he didn't care. Now these 4 6th-tier zombies should attack this human. However, to the black dragon's astonishment, Ada, Hongye, by Wawa, and Yutong stood still in place, not moving an inch. How could this be possible? The black dragon widened its eyes, unable to believe what it was witnessing. I command you to attack this human. The black dragon almost roared. Unfortunately, no matter how the black dragon yelled, Ada and the others remained motionless. Hee. Yili shook his head slowly. With the zombie synthesis system, the synthesized zombies followed his commands completely. He really didn't know where this black dragon got the courage to try and control his Apocalypse Legion. The control power of the dark race is simply incomparable to mine. You're truly ignorant. Yili said calmly, looking at the black dragon. Chapter 138. The demonic aura of the ancient devil tome Lu Qingxue was already shocked to the extreme. She had thought that the 4 6th-tier zombies would be controlled by the black dragon. After all, the black dragon was of the dark race. However, she could never have imagined that the situation would turn out like this. Suddenly, she remembered what Yili had said to her. If I must be classified as something, I should be considered a demon. A demon? Until now, Lu Qingxue finally understood the terror of demons. Human, how did you manage to do this? The black dragon stared at Yili firmly. Although he wasn't worried about a 6th-tier evolved being and 4 6th-tier zombies, he couldn't understand why he couldn't control these 4 6th-tier zombies. After all, he was a 7th-tier dark race member. You don't deserve to know how I did it, Yili said calmly. Hearing this, the black dragon felt an unprecedented insult. As a 7th-tier powerhouse, he was actually insulted by a 6th-tier evolved being. How could he tolerate it? The dark race opened the heavenly door to this world. Only a few years later, you humans turned into zombies on a large scale, and our dark race slaughtered you humans like pigs and dogs. Now I will let you know how formidable I am. As he spoke, a sinister aura burst forth from the black dragon's entire body, and the already overcast sky became even darker, creating a terrifying sight. This was like suppressing pressure. As a 7th-tier powerhouse, the black dragon didn't need to take action. Just his suppressing pressure alone could cause Yili to explode and die. All of you step back. Yili ordered the Apocalypse Legion, and Lu Qingxue and the Apocalypse Legion stepped back. The black dragon looked at Yili smugly. He knew that Yili would not be able to withstand his terrifying pressure, simply because Yili was only a 6th-tier evolved being. However, The next scene left the black dragon in the most shocked state he had ever experienced. At this moment, Yili stood still like a statue, and his not-so-tall figure now appeared like an ancient deity. And a demonic aura emanated from his entire body. This was the demonic aura of the second level of the ancient devil tome. The sinister aura approached, and the demonic aura surrounding Yili suddenly erupted. Demonic aura against sinister aura. Although the black dragon was a 7th-tier evolved being, his sinister aura was completely defeated by the demonic aura. The demonic aura advanced like lightning, hitting the black dragon. In an instant, a chill rose from his buttocks to his forehead. Well, the black dragon was shocked to the extreme. He actually felt his soul trembling. Not only the black dragon, even though Lu Qingxue was far away, she also felt her whole body trembling uncontrollably. She even felt like kneeling down. After all, this was just the second level of the ancient devil tome. If it was the third level, it would surely be even more terrifying. The black dragon was a tier 7 evolved being, and had the power he was supposed to have. After stabilizing his mind, he realized that his pressure was useless against Yili. He stared at Yili intently. "Human, when will show you the terror of me?" The black dragon roared, and then he opened his big mouth, from which a black lightning force burst forth. Yili coldly smiled, taking out the dragon-slaying blade from the system space, and wielding it with a powerful slash. The terrifying blade aura swept across the sky. Boom! The black lightning force was instantly blocked by this strike. Attack! Yili gave command to the Apocalypse Legion. Soon, the Apocalypse Legion launched an attack against the black dragon. Chapter 139. The black dragon swallowed Yili. Ada, Hongya, Bai Wawa, and Yutong all used their signature skills, attacking the black dragon from the directions of the east, south, west, and north respectively. Yili knew that their attacks wouldn't have much effect on the black dragon. However, he just wanted to distract the black dragon's attention. The black dragon became furious, roaring repeatedly. As a member of the dark race, he was actually being attacked by zombies, which was simply an unforgivable humiliation. The dragon-slaying blade in Yili's hand roared with raging flames, and he leaped into the air. In midair, the flame sword technique was unleashed. In an instant, countless fire blades attacked the black dragon. The black dragon roared fiercely, allowing the terrifying fire blades to hit its body. Yili didn't expect the black dragon's defense to be so strong that even the grade skill, flame sword technique, couldn't cause any harm to it. However, he quickly understood. After all, the black dragon was a 7th-tier creature, and the gap between 6th tier and 7th tier was like heaven and earth. Suddenly, Bai Wawa didn't pay attention, and was heavily struck by the black dragon's tail, which was as strong as steel. Bai Wawa flew several hundred meters away in an instant. Fortunately, Bai Wawa's defense was strong enough, and he stood up instantly and joined the battle again. The black dragon attacked Yili fiercely at high speed. The black dragon was fast, but did that mean Yili was slow? He activated the swift steps technique, and there was no way the black dragon could catch up to Yili. In an instant, multiple phantoms appeared in mid-air, making it an extraordinary battle. Lu Qingxue was like a statue, stiffly standing in place. She had never seen such a battle before. The black dragon was indeed a 7th-tier creature, incredibly powerful in every aspect, be it strength, speed, or defense. The attacks from the Apocalypse Legion had no effect on the black dragon. Yili thought that the black dragon's defense could not withstand the dragon-slaying blade, but the key was that he couldn't get close to the black dragon. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out, and Ada, Hongya, Bai Wawa, and Yutong were all seriously injured, lying on the ground and losing their fighting capabilities. It seemed that the outcome of this earth-shattering battle had been determined. "Human, do you now realize my terror?" The black dragon looked at Yili with pride. In his view, Yili was already a dead man. Yili stared at the black dragon, trying to figure out a way to slay the beast. "Human, what are you hesitating for? The only fate waiting for you is to become my food," the black dragon continued. As he spoke, the black dragon opened its large mouth and lunged at Yili at an astonishing speed. Yili looked at the black dragon's open mouth, And at this critical moment, he came up with an idea. He stood still and made no attempt to resist, allowing the black dragon to approach him. When the black dragon's open mouth was about to touch Yi Li, he still made no attempt to dodge. The black dragon swallowed Yi Li in one gulp. Senior, Lu Qingxue covered her mouth. She had never expected that the black dragon would swallow Yi Li like this. It's been decades since I last ate a human. The taste is really good. The black dragon licked its tongue smugly. Oh right, there's one more human. The black dragon's gaze shifted to Lu Qingxue. Seeing the black dragon staring at her, Lu Qingxue was terrified, feeling her soul leave her body. But how could she, as a second-tier evolved being, resist the black dragon? Run! Lu Qingxue knew that her fate was to be swallowed by the black dragon. Chapter 140. Roasted dragon leg. Lu Qingxue closed her eyes. She already knew her fate. Human, it seems you are somewhat clever. 111 eat you now, the black dragon said. As the words fell, the black dragon's figure flashed, and it instantly appeared in front of Lu Qingxue. However, just as the black dragon opened its mouth, ready to enjoy its meal, in that split second, its whole body felt like it had been struck by lightning. Ollie! Suddenly, the black dragon let out a miserable scream, as its internal organs were crushed by Yi Li. Lu Qingxue listened to the hair-raising screams and quickly opened her eyes, only to see the black dragon violently rolling in pain. She quickly retreated hundreds of meters away. Inside the black dragon, Yi Li wielded the dragon-slaying blade with great enthusiasm. When it was almost time, he unleashed the flame sword technique. The black dragon couldn't bear it anymore. Its body began to burn. The fire blades of the flame sword technique were not ordinary flames. They were equivalent to the three-flavored true fire of the red child. Moreover, the flames were burning within the black dragon's body, making it impossible for it to resist. Yi Li burst out of the dragon's body, the cold light on the dragon-slaying blade shining brightly. At this moment, the black dragon was burning and looked like it was about to die. In the blink of an eye, Yi Li brandished the dragon-slaying blade with a single slash, cutting off one of the dragon's legs. He thought to himself that he hadn't tasted dragon meat yet, so how could he let this opportunity pass? The black dragon was burned to ashes, and this huge dragon leg was now in Yi Li's possession. Ada, Hongye Bai Wawa, and Yutong were still lying on the ground, their injuries too severe. Yi Li walked up to them, raised his palm, and activated the healing art. Golden spiritual light emanated from his hand. In an instant, the injuries of the 4 members of the Apocalypse Legion healed. This was the charm of the healing art. Yi Li turned his head slightly and looked at Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was like she had been petrified, her 3 souls and 7 spirits seemingly pulled out of her body. Are you surprised? Yi Li slowly spoke. Hearing this, Lu Qingxue finally snapped out of her daze. She hadn't spoken yet when Yi Li continued. Never be surprised, because everything I do is enough to astonish you for 3 days and 3 nights. The earth-shattering battle from before was still vivid in Lu Qingxue's mind. She had thought that Yi Li had been swallowed by the black dragon and was dead. She also thought she was doomed. But how could she have expected such a reversal? Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li's exceptionally handsome face and discovered that Yi Li's expression was calm, as if the earth-shattering battle from before had never happened. She couldn't imagine that such a person existed in this world. Someone who would remain unfazed no matter what happened to them? Lu Qingxue walked to Yi Li's side. Everything felt like an illusion. From the moment Yi Li saved her, everything seemed too unreal. Yi Li didn't care about Lu Qingxue's thoughts. He looked at the dragon leg on the ground and thought that the black dragon was a member of the dark race. He didn't know if it would taste good. The key issue was that he didn't have any firewood. Yi Li thought for a moment, and suddenly he felt like scolding himself. Why did he need firewood when he had the flame sword technique? It was fire itself. Immediately, Yi Li activated the flame sword technique with the dragon-slaying blade, controlling the fire skillfully, and the flames instantly roasted the dragon leg. Seeing this scene, Lu Qingxue was once again stunned. Chapter 141. Golden Dragon Leg. Lu Qingxue saw this scene and was extremely shocked. Senior, Senior is roasting the dragon leg? Moreover, a delicious aroma wafted through the air. Lu Qingxue couldn't help but gaze at the dragon leg in the flames. She noticed that the leg had turned golden from the roasting. But this dragon is of the dark race. How could Senior dare to eat it? When the flames disappeared, the golden dragon leg had been roasted to perfection, tender on the inside and crispy on the outside. It looked absolutely delicious. Lu Qingxue couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Although the black dragon was of the dark race, the aroma of the roasted meat was simply irresistible. Yili had previously eaten tiger meat during the test of the dragon-slaying blade, and he still remembered the taste. Now this dragon meat, although it belonged to the dark race, the deliciousness of the meat made it worth trying. Without further ado, Yili tore off a large piece, and then swallowed it in one gulp. Yili had never dreamed that there could be such delicious meat in the world. It melted in his mouth, leaving a lingering taste. "Don't wait. Eat up," Yili said to the 4 members of the Apocalypse Legion. Yili knew that they were also foodies. He could tell from how they devoured the tiger meat during the test of the dragon-slaying blade. Ada, Hongya, Bai Wawa, and Yutong all heard what Yili said and immediately started eating the dragon meat. Yutong seemed hesitant and looked at the dragon meat in the hands of Ada and the others, looking puzzled. "Yutong, why aren't you eating?" Yili asked, looking at Yutong. Yutong's cute little face showed some fear. "Big brother, I'm afraid to eat." Yili thought that Yutong was already a 6-tier zombie. Why was he still so timid? He was a little dissatisfied and tore off a piece of meat from the huge dragon leg and handed it to Yutong. "Now Big Brother orders you to eat." Yutong was stunned for a few seconds, then took the dragon meat from Yili's hand and took a small bite. Suddenly, a drastic change appeared on Yutong's cute little face. "Big Brother, it's so delicious." Yutong looked at Yili in surprise. Yili thought, of course, it would be delicious. "If I say it's delicious, then it must be delicious." "Hee hee." Bai Wawa chuckled again, as if the meat was so delicious that he was on the verge of exploding. Yili looked at Bai Wawa's figure. He estimated that he weighed close to 200 jin. "You should eat a little less." "Ha." Yili turned around and looked at Lu Qingxue, who was still standing in place. "Why aren't you coming to eat?" Lu Qingxue's whole body shook upon hearing this, and she looked at Yili in astonishment. The key point was that Senior had only asked the 4 6-tier zombies to eat just now. He didn't ask her, so she didn't dare to go over. "You don't dare to eat?" Yili asked slowly. Lu Qingxue quickly shook her head, obviously not because she didn't dare to eat. "Then you don't want to eat?" Yili continued to ask. "Not that." Lu Qingxue shook her head again. "Then?" Yili was confused. It wasn't because she didn't dare to eat, and it wasn't because she didn't want to eat. Then why was she still standing there motionless? "You didn't ask me just now, so I thought you didn't want me to eat," Lu Qingxue said, feeling a little embarrassed. When Yili and the 4 zombies were eating the dragon meat, she almost drooled. The meat was too fragrant, and she was starving. Yili smiled. This girl looked cold and aloof on the outside, but was actually quite simple-minded and sweet. It was quite amusing. "Come and eat. After eating, we still have to look for the treasures," Yili said slowly. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingxue finally walked towards the golden dragon leg. Chapter 142. Heavenly Tower. Yili tore off a piece of dragon meat for Lu Qingxue, and she slowly took a bite after taking it. The moment Lu Qingxue took a bite, she was amazed. She could swear that she had never eaten anything so delicious in her life. This huge dragon leg was quickly devoured by Yili's group. After finishing their meal, Yili thought they still hadn't found the treasures. Eating the dragon meat was just a small matter. Yili looked around and noticed a blood-red cave at the end of this black land. He thought that the treasures must be inside. "Let's go inside that cave and take a look," Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue nodded. At this point, she admired Yili to the point of being speechless. Immediately, Yili and the group walked toward the blood-red cave. After a short walk, they arrived at the entrance of the cave. Although the entrance was blood-red, there were waves of mystic light emanating from inside, which made Yili speculate that there must be some incredible treasures within. Thinking of this, An excited look appeared on Yili's face. Upon entering the cave, they were greeted by an intense and refreshing spiritual energy, making them feel as if they were bathed in spring breeze. The cave wasn't long, and they quickly reached its end. To Yili's surprise, the end of the cave turned out to be a sea of flames. Above the sea of flames, there was a stone platform with a small tower on it. The small tower had 7 levels. At the moment, the black and quaint tower was releasing waves of mystic light. Lu Qingxue looked at the small tower on the stone platform. She was first astonished but then seemed to recall something, and she exclaimed in surprise. Could this be the Heavenly Tower? The Heavenly Tower, one of the 10 great divine weapons, capable of suppressing everything. Upon hearing Lu Qingxue's words, Yili was also slightly taken aback. Heavenly Tower? Could the treasure in the super treasure map be the Heavenly Tower? Thinking of this, Yili became quite excited. Ding! The divine artifact Heavenly Tower detected, please collect it. At that moment, the voice of the system echoed in Yili's mind. Hearing the system's words, Yili felt relieved. The dark race had been trying to find the 10 great divine weapons and uncover the hidden secrets within them ever since the apocalypse began. Unfortunately, even if they racked their brains, they couldn't find a single divine artifact. Yet here he was, Yili, possessing 2 divine artifacts. Who could have imagined that? Yili leaped and jumped onto the stone platform, retrieving the Heavenly Tower. Back on the ground, Yili looked at the Heavenly Tower in his hand. The hidden power within it was terrifying, and the tower was quite heavy, making it difficult for Yili to hold. Senior, is this the Heavenly Tower? Lu Qingxue curiously asked. Yili nodded. Yes, it is. Lu Qingxue was startled. She came to the Black Cloud Forest for the Heavenly Tower, but she didn't know if it even existed here. She had just come to try her luck. How could she have imagined that the Heavenly Tower would truly be here? Yili put the Heavenly Tower into the system space. He couldn't expose the fact that he had the Heavenly Tower, or he would become a target. Let's leave now, Yili said. Their purpose had been achieved, and there was no reason to stay here any longer. Lu Qingxue nodded, and then she and Yili left the blood-red cave. Continuing forward, Yili's group reached the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool, and then they left the Black Dragon Pool. Chapter 143. Heading to Huangjiang Bay City, Yili and Lu Qingxue returned to the land, and Yili stored Alda and the others in the system space. Lu Qingxue was surprised. She looked around, but the 4 Tier 6 zombies that were by her side just moments ago had suddenly disappeared. Could this be another ability of a demon? Lu Qingxue secretly glanced at Yili's calm face and thought to herself that Senior is truly an all-around talented person. Senior, where are you planning to go now? Lu Qingxue asked, but immediately regretted it. A person as high-level as Senior surely comes and goes as they please, and it's not her place to ask. After some thought, Yili replied, Huangjiang Bay City. Since he had nothing else to do, visiting Huangjiang Bay City would be a good idea. And they could also pass by a few small towns to synthesize zombies. You're also going to Huangjiang Bay City? Lu Qingxue was shocked, clearly not expecting that Yili would be heading there as well. What? Are you also going? Yili looked at Lu Qingxue, wondering if she should be returning to the Cloud Peak Academy. Could it be that Lu Qingxue didn't dare to go back? After all, during their time in the Black Cloud Forest, he saved Lu Qingxue, and the 2 men she was with naturally thought he was a member of the dark race. If they reported this to the academy, Yili shook his head inwardly. He didn't understand why he was thinking so much. Since when did he, Yili, need to think so much before doing anything? In fact, I'm from the Lu family in Huangjiang Bay City, Lu Qingxue said softly. Yili understood upon hearing her words. Lu Qingxue, Lu Qian? What a small world. In that case, let's go together, Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue didn't expect that Yili would invite her to go with him. A deep astonishment appeared on her fair face. After a few seconds of contemplation, Lu Qingxue looked up and firmly said to Yili, Please rest assured, Senior, I will never reveal what happened today. Yili didn't respond. He could answer, but it wasn't necessary. Shortly after, Yili and Lu Qingxue headed in the direction of Huangjiang Base City. They arrived at a small town, and Yili didn't know the name of the town, but he knew they were not far from Huangjiang Base City. "Senior, there are zombies ahead," Lu Qingxue said as she looked ahead. Roar! Roar! In front of them, hundreds of zombies appeared. All of them seemed to be level 3 zombies. "Senior, what should we do?" Lu Qingxue felt somewhat panicked. With her being only a Tier 2 evolved being, it would be impossible for her to deal with so many zombies. Yili smiled faintly. "Do you think they can even touch a single hair on my head?" Hearing this, Lu Qingxue finally relaxed. She believed that with Yili's strength, he wouldn't fear these ordinary zombies. Yili looked at the approaching horde of zombies and didn't bother calling Ada and the others. Instead, he calmly raised his fingers, and golden light shot out like a machine gun. Swish! 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 Countless sounds of breaking wind were heard. In an instant, hundreds of zombies fell to the ground, howling in pain, because each of their thighs had a horrifying blood hole. Yili activated the synthesis grid in his mind and began to combine these zombies. In no time, he synthesized a level 10 male zombie and a level 10 female zombie from the hundreds of level 3 zombies. He checked the zombies in the system space and found that there were already level 10 male and female zombies present. Chapter 144. Let's visit your home. Yili synthesized the 2 level IO male zombies and the 2 level 10 female zombies into a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Lu Qingxue was astonished. What was happening? She quickly rubbed her eyes, as if not believing that all of this was real. She vividly remembered that there were hundreds of ordinary zombies just a moment ago. How did they suddenly turn into a level IO male zombie and a level 10 female zombie in the blink of an eye? Then, in another blink of an eye, the level 10 male and female zombies turned into Tier 1 ones. Was this also a demon's ability? However, this was too heaven-defying. The dark race could only control zombies, but Senior could not only control zombies, but also make them level up? The shock in Lu Qingxue's heart at this moment couldn't be described in words. Seeing the astonishment on Lu Qingxue's face, Yili shook his head inwardly. He had told her never to be surprised, because everything he did was enough to amaze someone for 3 days and 3 nights. But it seemed that Lu Qingxue couldn't quite understand what he meant. Yili continued walking, and not long after, he produced another Tier 1 male zombie and another Tier 1 female zombie. Now he had 2 Tier 1 male zombies and 2 Tier 1 female zombies, and he continued to synthesize them. Now he had a Tier 2 male zombie and a Tier 2 female zombie. He checked the number of zombies he had now. Apocalypse Legion. Ada Hongye by Wawa Yutong. Male zombies. 1 Tier 3 male zombie, 1 Tier 2 male zombie. Female zombies. 1 Tier 3 female zombie, 1 Tier 2 female zombie. The overall strength was not bad, but still far from enough. After all, there were Tier 7 evolved beings in Huangjiang Base City. However, in Huangjiang Base City, the Tier 7 evolved being was Su Sun'er's grandfather Su Chongfeng, who was the backbone of Huangjiang Base City. He was very important to Huangjiang Base City. Yili had saved Su Changfeng's life, but he didn't expect that Su Chongfeng would do anything for him. After all, people have their own agendas, especially in this apocalyptic world. Yili and Lu Qingxue finally arrived at the outskirts of Huangjiang Base City. The military in the outer city was equipped with many high-tech weapons, making it much more advanced than the Annan Base City. Yili and Lu Qingxue entered the outer city. Huangjiang Base City was much larger and more prosperous than Annan Base City. "Senior, what are you going to do now?" Lu Qingxue didn't finish her sentence, as she looked at Yili cautiously, fearing that her words might upset him. "Let's go visit your home," Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue was stunned. She couldn't believe that Yili would say such a thing. "Why, do you think I, Yili, am not worthy of visiting your Lu family?" Yili looked at Lu Qingxue, his face showing a hint of playfulness. Lu Qingxue recovered from her daze and quickly said, "No, Senior. It's an honor for you to visit the Lu family." The Lu family ranks second among the families in Huangjiang Base City. The family head Lu Xinghe was a Tier 6 evolved being with astonishing strength. Following Lu Qingxue, Yili arrived at the outside of the Lu family's residence. The Lu family's building had a classical design, similar to those wealthy families shown on television. Two teenagers came out at that moment, looking at Lu Qingxue and becoming somewhat stunned. Then they quickly said, "Sister Qingxue, you're back." Lu Qingxue nodded, and her face became cold again. She didn't respond to the two youngsters from the Lu family, but looked at Yili. "Senior, let's go inside." Chapter 145. Lu Qingxue. Lu Qian. The two Lu family's disciples were shocked. They felt that they had heard wrong. Sister Qingxue, who had always been arrogant, actually called this person senior? Before Lu Qingxue went to the Cloud Peak Academy, she was the absolute #1 genius in the Huangjiang-based city. She was very arrogant, and not many of the younger generation in the Huangjiang-based city caught her eye. But now, Lu Qingxue actually called Yili senior. How could the two Lu family disciples not be surprised? They didn't intend to go out. Instead, they hurriedly ran in as if to report. The Lu family was naturally huge, with pavilions, towers, small bridges and flowing water, creating a unique charm. At this moment, the younger generation of the Lu family came out to welcome Lu Qingxue. There were more than 30 of them, and most of them were level 8 to level 9 awakened beings. "Sister Qingxue, is Cloud Peak Academy on vacation?" "Sister Qingxue, can you tell us about the Cloud Peak Academy?" "That's right, Sister Qingxue. Cloud Peak Academy is about to recruit students again. We want to know more about it." The younger generation of the Lu family looked at Lu Qingxue and said, it was obvious that they yearned for Cloud Peak Academy. However, when it came to the admissions of the Cloud Peak Academy, Yili couldn't help but think of Xiao Hui and Yun Man. They were going to the Cloud Peak Academy. Qian Ruxia had said that she would leave after Xiao Hui and Yun Man went to the Cloud Peak Academy. Lu Qingxue clearly didn't like such a scene. Faced with the questions of these cousins, she seemed to be at a loss. "Sister, you're back." An excited voice sounded in everyone's ears. Yili naturally knew this voice because it was not someone else's voice, but Lu Qian's. Lu Qian jogged to Lu Qingxue's side and looked at her happily. "Sister, one really missed you." "Qian, one just passed by the Huangjiang-based city and came back to take a look," Lu Qingxue said. Lu Qian was very happy. She worshipped her sister. The scene of her sister beating up the hedonistic children of Huangjiang-based city before she went to the Cloud Peak Academy was still vivid in her mind. Lu Qian looked around, and the smile on her face instantly froze. As senior, Lu Qian was horrified. That day in Pan City, she and Sinner already knew how terrifying Yili was. She had thought that they would never meet again, but she didn't expect Yili to appear in front of her at this moment. Yili stood upright where he was, and his slightly thin body shot into the sky like a sharp sword. Lu Qingxue was startled and looked at Lu Qian in astonishment. She heard very clearly that Lu Qian was calling Yili senior. Did they know each other? "Qian, do you know senior?" Lu Qingxue asked Lu Qian in a low voice. "Sister, do you know senior too?" Lu Qian asked in shock. Immediately, Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other, as if everything was conveyed without words. "Senior, let me take you around." Lu Qingxue thought that she had neglected Yili for a long time. If she angered senior, the entire Lu family would undoubtedly suffer a catastrophe. "Okay." Yili nodded. Lu Qingxue's words stunned the younger generation of the Lu family. What did they hear? How could Lu Qingxue call this person senior? How was it possible? In a day, the younger generation of the Lu family began to discuss who Yili was, what his background was, and why Sister Qingxue called him senior. Chapter 146. The younger generation of the Lu family was shocked. Who is that person? Sister Qingxue actually called him senior. Is he a super genius of the Cloud Peak Academy? Even if he's a super genius of the Cloud Peak Academy, Sister Qingxue doesn't have to call him senior. It seems that there's only one possibility, a young man of the Lu family said in a low voice. As soon as he said this, all the younger generation of the Lu family looked at the young man who spoke. How could it be? One of the youths asked quickly. The young man looked at Yili's receding back. He looked at the sun in the sky at a 45-degree angle and slowly said, "That's the senior that Sister Qingxue mentioned. Not only is he a powerhouse, but he's also a super powerhouse. Otherwise, why would Sister Qingxue call him senior?" Hearing this, the younger generation of the Lu family looked at each other in bewilderment. A super powerhouse? But that person looked only 2 years older than Sister Qingxue. How could he become a super powerhouse? Why are you all standing here instead of cultivating? Suddenly, a shout entered the ears of the younger generation of the Lu family. The younger generation of the Lu family trembled and looked in the direction of the voice. A middle-aged man in a suit walked over. The middle-aged man's face was gloomy, and there was a shocking scar on his face, which looked very scary. "It's third uncle," a young man from the Lu family said in a low voice. The middle-aged man with the scar on his face was called Lu Kuei, the third brother of the head of the Lu family, Lu Xinghe, a Tier 5 evolved being. Lu Kuei walked in front of the younger generation of the Lu family and looked at the more than 30 disciples of the Lu family coldly. "That's because the Cloud Peak Academy will come to the Huangjiang-based city to recruit students. You should know how difficult it is to enter the Cloud Peak Academy. If you don't cultivate hard, you won't be able to enter the Cloud Peak Academy in this life," Lu Kuei said coldly. The younger generation of the Lu family seemed to be very afraid of Lu Kuei. They all lowered their heads, not daring to speak. "Tell me, why are you all here?" Lu Kuei continued. A young member of the Lu family mustered his courage and told Lu Kuei what had just happened. Lu Kuei was stunned to hear that. Although he was a little surprised that Qingxue was back, it was definitely not to the point where he was stunned. What really stunned him was that Qingxue actually called a young man senior, which puzzled him. Could it be that the young man was really terrifying? "Is what you said true?" Lu Kuei asked in a low voice. "Third uncle, it's absolutely true," the younger generation of the Lu family hurriedly said. "Where is Qingxue taking the boy now?" Lu Kuei asked. "Sister Qingxue took her to Huaqing Pool. Sister Qianqian also went with her," the younger generation of the Lu family said. "Go cultivate," Lu Kuei said coldly. Immediately, the more than 30 young people of the Lu family returned to the cultivation room and began to cultivate. "I can't believe that. I have to take a look." Lu Kuei narrowed his eyes and said, "Senior, this is the Lu family's Huaqing Pool, which is also the place with the richest spiritual energy in the Lu family." Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li and said. Yi Li looked at the pool in front of him. The water in the pool was very clear and light, and the spiritual energy was indeed very rich. Unfortunately, he wasn't interested at all. "By the way, where is your father?" Yi Li suddenly asked Lu Qian. For some reason, Yi Fei wanted to meet the second-ranked powerhouse in the Huangjiang Bay city. Chapter 147. Do I have to tell you that? Lu Qian hurriedly replied. "Senior, my father went to the Su family." Yi Li thought that he just wanted to meet him. Since he wasn't around, he might as well forget it. "Qingxue, you're back." A voice entered Yi Li's ears. The person who spoke was naturally Lu Qingxe's third uncle Lu Kuei. "Yes, third uncle, the Cloud Peak Academy has a mission, so I'm just going home to take a look," Lu Qingxue said to Lu Kuei. Lu Kuei nodded and continued. "Qingxue, I heard that you brought a senior back. Where is he?" "Third uncle, he is senior," Lu Qingxue said. Lu Kuei looked at Yi Li and was a little shocked because Yi Li was too young. He thought to himself, Qingxue actually called this young man senior. Is this young man really terrifying? "May I ask who you are?" Lu Kuei looked at Yi Li. Lu Kuei was a Tier 5 evolved being, so he naturally couldn't tell what realm Yi Li was in. Yi Li spoke slowly. Obviously, this was the first time Lu Kuei had heard the name Yi Li. "May I ask which base city Mr. Yi is from?" Lu Kuei thought that since Qingxue called him senior, this young man's background must not be simple. He had to be careful. "No base city," Yi Li said lightly. Lu Kuei was secretly unhappy to hear that. He was one of the strong masters in the Huangjiang base city after all. But this boy ignored him so easily. "Mr. Yi, you are a human, right? Since you are a human, you must be from the base city. I really don't understand if Mr. Yi is deliberately hiding it, or you don't want to tell me." Lu Kuei stared at Yi Li and said, Do I have to tell you? Yili said casually. Yili didn't understand. He came to the Lu family just to take a look. Why were these people from the Lu family so troublesome? What did you say? Lu Kuei was shocked. He really didn't expect Yili to dare to say such a thing to him in the Lu family. Mr. Yi, this is the Huangjiang Bay City, and this is the Lu family. Lu Kuei continued with a sullen face. Yili played with his fingers and didn't look at Lu Kuei. He slowly said, I know this is the Huangjiang Bay City, and one know this is the Lu family, but so what? Hearing this, Lu Kuei stared at Yili. Mr. Yi, aren't you overestimating yourself? Yili smiled and looked at Lu Kuei. Do you think you, a mere tier 5 evolved being, deserve to talk to me like this? Lu Kuei was even angrier. A mere tier 5 evolved being? How dare he say that? Lu Kuei was one of the strong masters in the Huangjiang Bay City, but in this person's mouth, he had become a mere tier 5 evolved being. Why did you come to our Lu family? Lu Kuei felt that Yili must have a purpose for coming to the Lu family. Unfortunately, not only was his feeling wrong, but it was so completely wrong. Yili smiled faintly. Do you think your Lu family is worthy of me coming here? Arrogant, absolutely arrogant. Seeing this, Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian were both shocked. They knew how terrifying Yili was and hurriedly said to Lu Kuei, Third uncle, please don't. Lu Kuei's face sank. He said coldly, Qingxue Shaoqian, you are from the Lu family. Why are you siding with outsiders now? With that, Lu Kuei stared at Yili again. Yili, do you know how terrifying our Lu family is? Chapter 148. Yili, just you wait. Lu Kuei wanted Yili to know that the Lu family was not someone he could afford to offend in the Huangjiang Bay City. Your Lu family is just a small family. What's so terrifying about it? Yili said lightly. Yili, do you really not know how terrifying the Lu family is? Lu Kuei gritted his teeth and squeezed out these words. As I said, your Lu family is just a small family. There's nothing terrifying about it. Yili slowly said, Fine. Lu Kuei said good 3 times in a row, which meant that he was very angry at this moment. Yili, since you said that our Lu family is just a small family, 111 let you know how terrifying the Lu family is today. Lu Kuei almost roared. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Kuei raised his fist and punched Yili. Yili looked bored. Lai thought that although Lu Kuei was a tier 5 evolved being, he was still an ant in front of him. Red spiritual energy wrapped Lu Kuei's punch. The power of this punch was definitely not weak. Unfortunately, he was facing Yili, a 6th tier evolved being. Yili stood still as if he didn't see Lu Kuei attacking him at all. Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other in horror. They naturally knew how terrifying Yili was. When Lu Kuei's fist was only a line away from Yili's, Yili suddenly raised 2 fingers. At the critical moment, his 2 fingers caught Lu Kuei's fist. What? Lu Kuei was shocked. He would never have thought that his fist would be caught by Yili with 2 fingers. He tried to retract his fist, only to find that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull it out. Yili looked at Lu Kuei's livid face indifferently. He shook his head and slowly said, How dare a small pearl compete with the sun and moon? What a joke. Lu Kuei was still pulling his fist hard, but unfortunately, Yili's 2 fingers were like iron pincers, clamping his fist tightly. Poor ants. You never know how high the sky is, or how wide the earth is. As soon as he finished speaking, Yili retracted his finger and released a hidden force. Lu Kuei was hit by this hidden force and took a few steps back. Caught off guard, he fell to the ground. Yili's face was as calm as water. How could a small fry like Lu Kuei enter Yili's eyes? Lu Kuei got up from the ground with all his strength. He stared at Yili, knowing that Yili was not someone he could defeat. Yili, just you wait. I'm going to call my brother back. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Kuei left angrily. Yili felt a little bored. Why were there always so many tasteless flies? Senior, Lu Qingxue looked at Yili apologetically. She didn't expect this to happen when she brought Yili to the Lu family. The younger generation of the Lu family were not very obedient. Knowing that third uncle would definitely go to Yili after asking where Yili was, wouldn't it be a pity if they didn't watch such a good show? Not long after they returned to the cultivation center, they all followed him. The scene just now was completely witnessed by them. They gasped. They didn't expect that the third uncle of a Tier 5 evolved being would be so vulnerable in front of Yili. Chapter 149. Lu Xinghe, the head of the Lu family senior. Third uncle is going to call my father over. Look? Lu Qingxue looked at Yili carefully. It doesn't matter. I want to see your father anyway. Yili waved his hand. Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Now third uncle has gone to call the family head. Do you think the family head can deal with that person? What are you talking about? The family head is ranked second in the Huangjiang base city. No matter how powerful he is, it's impossible for him to defeat the family head. That's right. It's not like we haven't seen how terrifying the family head is. Just wait. When the family head comes back, there will be a good show to watch. Yili felt a little bored, so he sat in Huaqing pool, waiting for Lu Kuei to call his brother over. The younger generation of the Lu family looked at Yili's back and swallowed. For some reason, looking at Yili's back, they felt their souls tremble. Sister, do you think Dad will fight Senior later? Lu Qian looked at Lu Qingxue and asked. I don't know either. Lu Qingxue shook her head. Lu Qingxue looked worried. She knew that Yili controlled 4 6th-tier zombies. If they really fought, her Lu family would definitely be defeated. Suddenly, a middle-aged man walked over aggressively. The middle-aged man was wearing a mountain suit and had a scar on his gloomy face. The middle-aged man was Lu Kuei. Lu Kuei stared at Yili's back and said coldly, Yili, not only is my brother here this time, but brother Su Yao is also here? I don't think you know who brother Su Yao is. He's the eldest son of the Su family, the number 1 family in the Huangjiang base city. He's a 6th-tier evolved being. It was not difficult to tell from Lu Kuei's voice that he was very smug at this moment, as if Yili's insult to the Lu family could be taken back immediately. Not long after Lu Kuei said so, a gentle middle-aged man, and Su Yao slowly walked over. Needless to say, Su Yao was the father of Su Sinner and Su Xiaochao. As for this gentle middle-aged man, he was the head of the Lu family, Lu Xinghe, a 6th-tier evolved being. Brother, it's him. Lu Kuei pointed at Yili's back. Lu Xinghe narrowed his eyes and looked at Su Yao. Although the Lu family was not the number 1 family in the Huangjiang base city, it was ranked first. No one had ever dared to say that the Lu family was a small family. Besides, this person had actually beaten Lu Kuei. If he didn't take revenge, how could the Lu family have a foothold in the Huangjiang base city in the future? Brother Xinghe, I'm just here to take a look. This is your Lu family's place. It's up to you. Su Yao followed them for 2 reasons. Firstly, he wanted to see who this shameless person was, and secondly, he felt that if Lu Xinghe was no match for him, he could help. Since Xiao Fei, the leader of the Martial Artist Alliance, escaped, the Huangjiang base city had become the same as before. Now the big clans naturally followed the Su family as their leader. Lu Xinghe stared at Yili's back and cupped his fists. Brother, who are you? Yili didn't turn around. He slowly said, It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is what you're going to do. Lu Xinghe was a little unhappy to hear that. No matter what, Lu Xinghe was one of the terrifying existences in the Huangjiang base city. This person actually dared to be so arrogant to him. Lu Kuei said that not only did you say that our Lu family is just a small family, but you also hit him, right? Chapter 150. Don't let me beat you so easily, that's right. Yili said slowly, still not turning around. Lu Xinghe sneered. Then as the head of the Lu family, if I don't take action, how can our Lu family establish ourselves in the Huangjiang base city? Since you want to attack me, then do it. Yili still didn't turn around. Lu Xing's face sank when he heard that. His temper was publicly acknowledged to be good, but he was angry today. He hadn't been so angry in at least 3 years. Seeing that the family head, Lu Xinghe, was about to take action, the younger generation of the Lu family all widened their eyes, fearing that they would miss something exciting. Lu Xinghe raised his palm, and purple spiritual energy entangled it. White tiger palm. As soon as he said so, a white tiger formed by purple spiritual energy pounced at Yili. Lu Xinghe had purple spiritual energy, which meant that Lu Xinghe had an S-class genetic talent. Yi Li, on the other hand, had an SSS-class genetic talent. At the same level, an S-class genetic warrior couldn't beat an SSS-class genetic warrior, no matter what. To the surprise of the younger generation of the Lu family, Yi Li still didn't turn around. The white tiger palm was a skill that every genetic warrior of the Lu family knew. It was very powerful. When the white tiger formed by purple spiritual energy was only a step away from Yi Li activated the swift steps and instantly disappeared. The white tiger missed and disappeared. It's gone. The younger generation of the Lu family was shocked. They clearly remembered that the white tiger was about to pounce on Yi Li's back. At the same time, they knew that Yi Li would either die or be injured after this blow. However, they would rather believe that they could only live for one day than believe that Yi Li would disappear. When Yi Li appeared again, he was already dozens of meters away. With his back still facing everyone, he slowly said, "Lu Xinghe, is that all you've got?" As soon as he said this, Lu Xinghe was furious. Although Yi Li's terrifying speed surprised him, he was extremely angry that Yi Li dared to say that. "Then I'll show you my real strength," Lu Xinghe said in a low voice. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xinghe raised his palm and shouted coldly, "Lightning Thunder Palm." As soon as he said so, a terrifying power of lightning appeared on Lu Xing's palm. Boom! The terrifying sound of lightning struck at Yi Li's back. Finally, Yi Li turned around. He raised his finger and slowly said, "I have a finger that can break the sky and earth." As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying golden spiritual energy attacked Yi Li's finger. The One Yang finger and the lightning collided heavily. With another loud bang, Lu Xing's lightning thunder palm was broken by the One Yang finger. The aftershock of the One Yang finger shot at Lu Xinghe. Lu Xinghe was shocked and hurriedly dodged, finally dodging this terrifying attack. Yi Li looked at Lu Xing's panicked footsteps and said leisurely, "Lu Xinghe, use all your abilities. Don't let me defeat you like this." Hearing this, Lu Xinghe gnashed his teeth. But at the same time, Su Yao widened his eyes and looked at Yi Li in disbelief. "Mr. Yi," Su Yao exclaimed. Since Sinner left Pan City with Yi Li had never returned. He had thought that he would never see Yi Li again in his life, but he didn't expect Yi Li to appear here. Chapter 151. Not enemies. Su Yao quickly walked between Yi Li and Lu Xinghe and said, "Mr. Yi, brother Xinghe, there must be some misunderstanding. We're not enemies." The younger generation of the Lu family was dumbfounded. They really couldn't understand why Su Yao called Yi Li Mr. Yi. "Brother Su, what do you mean?" Lu Xinghe said unhappily. Su Yao smiled and then told him about Yi Li saving Old Master Su. Lu Xinghe was shocked to hear that. He knew that Old Master Su's injuries had been healed by an expert, but he never expected that the expert was so close. The younger generation of the Lu family looked at each other. They didn't expect Yi Li to save Old Master Su. There was no expression on Yi Li's handsome face. He looked at Lu Xinghe indifferently. "Come on, use all your abilities." Yi Li hooked his finger at Lu Xinghe. Seeing this, Lu Xinghe felt greatly insulted and stared at Yi Li. "Brother Su, even if he saves Old Master Su, I'll fight him today." As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xinghe rushed towards Yi Li. Yi Li was still as a bell, like a god that stood between the heavens and earth, unchanging since ancient times. During the attack, Lu Xinghe opened his right hand, and the purple spiritual energy formed a purple long sword. Suddenly, Lu Xinghe jumped up, raised his purple long sword high, and slashed at Yi Li. Yi Li smiled calmly. Such an attack was really pitiful in his eyes. He unhurriedly raised two fingers. Just as the long sword formed by purple spiritual energy was about to fall, two fingers clamped the purple long sword. "What?" The younger generation of the Lu family all gasped. They couldn't imagine how terrifying Yi Li was. They had thought that Yi Li would never be able to defeat the family head, but now it seemed that they were wrong. Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian couldn't hide the shock on their fair faces. It was already unbelievable that Yi Li caught third uncle's fist with two fingers just now, but now he actually caught their father's spiritual sword with two fingers. Well, even Lu Xinghe was shocked. There was a bored expression on Yi Li's handsome face. He slowly said, "Is this your ability?" As soon as he finished speaking, he twisted the two fingers holding the spiritual sword slightly. With a crack, the spiritual sword in Lu Xing's hand broke and then disappeared. At this moment, no words could describe the shock of the Lu family. At this moment, they would only think that Yi Li was an invincible person. "That's it. I thought you were capable, but it seems that you're just SOSO. Yi Li looked at the shocked Lu Xinghe and slowly said. Su Yao's face was extremely solemn. He clearly remembered that when Yi Li saved his father, he was only a Tier 4 evolved being. But in just a month or so, Yi Li had become a 6th tier evolved being. This speed was simply beyond description. Besides, the golden spiritual energy that Yi Li used just now shocked Su Yao. Golden spiritual energy, which meant that he was an SSS-class genetic warrior. "I haven't lost yet." Just as Yi Li took a few steps, Lu Xinghe suddenly roared. Chapter 152. Hitting people is also an art. After Lu Xinghe roared, he suddenly slapped Yi Li's back. Yi Li secretly shook his head. He couldn't understand why Lu Xinghe would do such a ridiculous thing. He turned around and activated the heavenly spirit eyes. A golden spiritual light shot at Lu Xing's palm like a sharp sword leaving its sheath. The golden spiritual light hit Lu Xing's palm, which was instantly pierced through. "Ollie!" Lu Xinghe let out a scream, and a shocking bloody hole appeared on his palm. "Dad! Family head!" Everyone present in the Lu family shouted at Lu Xinghe. Su Yao was shocked because he felt that Yi Li was too terrifying. So terrifying that he broke into a cold sweat. Yi Li looked no more than 20 years old. Yi Li looked at Lu Xinghe, who was in pain, and slowly said, "There are many people in this world that you can't defeat. You should have heard of the saying, that there is always someone stronger." As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Li raised his palm, and golden spiritual energy entered Lu Xing's palm. Suddenly something incredible happened. The bloody hole on Lu Xing's palm recovered at a visible speed until it disappeared. The younger generation of the Lu family all rubbed their eyes. They thought that they had seen it wrongly, but no matter how they rubbed, there was only one answer, which was that the bloody hole in Lu Xing's palm had really disappeared. What happened? Lu Xinghe looked at his palm in shock. He really didn't understand why the bloody hole in his palm suddenly disappeared. "Do you still think you haven't lost?" Yi Li asked Lu Xinghe casually. Hearing this, Lu Xinghe cupped his fists at Yi Li and said respectfully, "Mr. Yi, I've lost." Yi Li nodded. Not only did he want to treat Lu Xing's injuries, but he also wanted to teach Lu Xinghe a lesson. If you wanted to beat a person, not only did you have to beat him into submission, but you also had to make him respect you. This was no longer a simple beating. This was an art. But it was obviously extremely difficult to master such an art. However, Yi Li happened to be able to control it. "I didn't expect Mr. Yi to have such a divine technique. It's an eye-opener for me." Lu Xinghe looked at Yi Li and said. The divine technique he mentioned was naturally Yi Li's healing technique. Yi Li pondered for a few seconds and then asked, "Have any powerful dark race members come to the major cities under the jurisdiction of the Huangjiang base city recently?" He remembered that he had slaughtered thousands of members of the dark race in Pan City that day, and the 6th-tier skeleton undead had escaped. He knew that he had the dragon-slaying blade, so he would naturally report it. "Mr. Yi, how did you know?" Su Yao looked at Yi Li in confusion. Yi Li was right. Since the dark race members wanted to cause trouble for him, he didn't mind another massacre. This time, a Tier 7 spirit soul came from Pan City. It seems that they are preparing to attack Huangjiang base city again. The spirit soul was a member of the dark race. Yi Li had met him in the Anan base city. Shi Yuan was a spirit soul of the soul race. Yi Li secretly sneered, thinking that the dark race members were really bold. Unfortunately, he would let them know how big a mistake they had made. He would show them what real power was. Chapter 153. The Cloud Peak Academy had come to recruit students. Su Yao suddenly thought of something and looked at Yi Li. "Could it be that Mr. Yi helped our Anan base city before?" "Sort of," Yi Li said slowly. Su Yao was overjoyed to hear that. "In that case, Mr. Yi, Please go to the Su family. Since you saved Mr. Su and went to Pan City, he has been thinking about you. Okay. Yili thought that since he had nothing to do in the Lu family, he might as well go to the Su family. Then, Yili and Su Yao went to the Su family. Sister, do you think there is an invincible person in this world? Lu Qian looked at Lu Qingxue in a daze. I don't know. Maybe. Lu Qingxue looked at Yili's back and said. Yili followed Su Yao to the Su family. The younger generation, elders and middle-aged people of the Su family saw that Su Yao had brought someone back. They naturally knew this person. Su Yongchang was surprised and hurriedly welcomed them. Mr. Yi, you're here. That day, Yili said that he wanted to treat Su Changfeng's injuries. He didn't believe that Yili had such an ability. After Yili healed Su Changfeng's injuries, he knew that his face was already swollen like a 200-kilogram fatty's. From then on, he admired Yili even more. Su Xiaoqiao was still young and didn't know what love was. She only felt happy because she saw Senior again. But Su Sunner's fair face seemed to have frozen. As the saying went, all encounters in the world were reunions after a long time. Yili's handsome face was as calm as water. He nodded and didn't answer Su Yongchang. As for Su Sunner, he had seen Su Sunner's eyes. Mr. Yi, let's go in, Su Yao said to Yili. Yili nodded and then walked into the Su family's hall with Su Yao. As soon as he walked into the Su family's hall, Su Yao walked up excitedly. Dad, look who's here. Su Changfeng looked over and quickly got up from the throne. Mr. Yi. Su Changfeng greeted him. Elder Su. Yili replied. Not only was Su Changfeng the head of the Su family, but he was also the strongest person in the Huangjiang base city, a Tier 7 evolved being. Su Changfeng was a little stunned. He remembered that when Yili treated him, he was only a Tier 4 evolved being. How long had it been? He had become a 6th tier evolved being. This speed was comparable to godly speed. Dad Ar. Yi came to the Huangjiang base city to help us, Su Yao said to Su Changfeng. Su Changfeng was shocked. He quickly cupped his fists. Mr. Yi is really a good person. I'm not a good person, Yili slowly said. Su Changfeng didn't say anything. He knew very well that good people usually liked to say that he wasn't a good person. After the hosts took their seats, Su Changfeng said to Yili, Mr. Yi, a level 7 spirit soul has come to Pan City this time. One believed they'll be attacking our city soon. Yili thought that he was an SSS level class genetic warrior, had the ancient devil tome, and the dragon-slaying blade. This Tier 7 spirit soul probably couldn't compare to the flood dragon at the bottom of the black dragon pool. Yili had been staying in the Su family for 10 days. Since he transmigrated to this parallel world, he had never rested so well. On this day, Yili was drinking tea with Su Changfeng in the hall. Su Yao walked in and said to Su Changfeng, Dad, the recruiters of the Cloud Peak Academy have come to Huangjiang Base City to recruit students. Su Changfeng put down the teacup in his hand and looked at Yili. I wonder if Mr. Yi is interested in taking a look together. Chapter 154. Huangjiang Academy. Yili nodded, thinking that it was good to take a look. The Cloud Peak Academy was one of the 3 academies established by the Warrior Alliance. It gathered many elites. Xiao Hui and Yun Man would also go to Cloud Peak Academy. With their talent, it shouldn't be a problem for them to go to Cloud Peak Academy. Immediately, Yili got up and followed Su Changfeng and the others to Huangjiang Academy. Huangjiang Academy was the best academy in the Huangjiang base city. Those who could enter it were all outstanding genetic warriors in the Huangjiang base city. After arriving at the Yellow River Academy, there was already a sea of people. Important people from the big clans had come to watch. Sometimes, if some outstanding genetic warriors didn't choose to enter the Cloud Peak Academy, these families would extend an olive branch. Su Sunner and Lu Qian were also students of the Yellow River Academy. They were both geniuses of the Yellow River Academy. Not only was Su Changfeng the strongest person in the Huangjiang base city, but he was also the honorary president of the Huangjiang Academy. After arriving at the Huangjiang Academy, someone immediately came to welcome him. Yili and Su Changfeng both sat in the best seats. Seeing this, the people from the big clans in the Huangjiang base city were all a little puzzled. wondering why this young man could sit with Elder Su. Who is that young man? He can actually sit with Elder Su. Does he have a powerful background? I don't know. I've never seen him before. But since he can sit with Elder Su, his background must not be bad. He must be from a larger base city. Otherwise, why would Elder Su be talking and laughing with a young man? The big clans in the Huangjiang base city were all discussing, but no matter how they discussed, they couldn't guess Yi Li's identity. Next is the biggest annual event of our Huangjiang Academy. Cloud Peak Academy is here to recruit students. The Academy of Huangjiang Academy spoke on the stage with a mic. As soon as he said so, a large number of students cheered. In their opinion, as long as they entered the Cloud Peak Academy, their lives would be successful. Next, let's invite the two honorable recruiters of the Cloud Peak Academy. As they spoke, a man and a woman, both about 30 years old, slowly walked onto the stage. Both the man and the woman looked extremely disdainful, because in their opinion, the Huangjiang base city was too small, and it was like the countryside. Besides, they didn't come to the Huangjiang base city just to recruit students. There were more important things. Yi Li looked at the two recruiters. They were both Tier 4 evolved beings. In front of him, a Tier 4 evolved being was really pitifully weak. However, since they were recruiters, and it was a small base city like the Huangjiang base city, Tier 4 evolved beings were completely enough. Let me introduce you. This recruiter is called Shindu, and this recruiter is called Lengyu. After the president of the Huangjiang Academy introduced the two recruiters, the students below cheered again. Next, hand the mic to the honorary president of our Huangjiang base city, the strongest person in the Huangjiang base city, a Tier 7 evolved being, Mr. Su Changfeng. As soon as the president said so, the cheers below became deafening. When Shindu and Lengyu heard that there was a Tier 7 evolved being in the Huangjiang base city, they were stunned. Su Changfeng got up and walked onto the stage. He walked like a tiger, extremely calm yet majestic. Chapter 155. The true purpose. Su Changfeng was already 80 years old, but a Tier 7 evolved being had a long lifespan. At 80 years old, he was like an ordinary middle-aged man. Su Changfeng walked to the podium, and the president respectfully handed the mic to him. Elder Su, please. After Su Changfeng took the mic, he looked at the thousands of students below. Students, you are the future hope of the Huangjiang base city. I hope you can cultivate hard and become the pillars of the Huangjiang base city in the future. After a few simple words, Elder Su handed the mic to the president of the Huangjiang base city. The president took the mic and continued. This time, there are 10 places for the students of the Huangjiang Academy to enter the Cloud Peak Academy. Now I announce the recruitment begins. 10. For the thousands of students in the Huangjiang Academy, these 10 spots were too few. The Cloud Peak Academy was recruiting students based on their genetic levels and realms. Clang, namely Tian, gene level D grade. Realm, a level 6 awakened being. Not qualified, Shindu said ruthlessly with the mic in his hand. He secretly sneered. A level 6 awakened being with a D-level genetic talent. Who gave you the courage to come up for the test? What a place of ants. After testing a large number of people in a row, none of them passed. The president and all the teachers of the Huangjiang Academy couldn't help but wipe the sweat on their foreheads. If none of them passed this time, the Huangjiang Academy could be terminated. Finally, it was Lu Qian's turn to go on stage. Lu Qian placed her hand on the test instrument. Name Lu Qian. Gene level D grade. Realm, Tier 1 evolved being. Qualified. Hearing the sound from the test instrument, Lu Qian took a long breath. The Cloud Peak Academy had always been the place she yearned for. Now she could finally enter it. Name Su Suner. Gene level D grade. Realm, Tier 1 evolved being. Qualified. Another voice came from the test instrument, and a smile appeared on Su Suner's fair face. After a long time, the test of the thousands of students in the Huangjiang Academy was completed. Shendu picked up the mic with a trace of mockery on his face. Unfortunately, our Cloud Peak Academy originally gave Huangjiang base city 10 places. Unfortunately, only 2 of you qualified. The others are not qualified. As soon as he said this, the people from the big clans who came to watch all revealed anger. They could see the disdain on Shen De's face. Unfortunately, they could only be angry because the Huangjiang-based city was worlds apart from the Warrior Alliance. They didn't have a good impression of the Warrior Alliance because President Xiao Tian of the Warrior Alliance in the Huangjiang-based city was preparing to join the Dark Race. There's one more thing. This is our real purpose for coming to the Huangjiang-based city, Shen Wen said coldly. Lu Qingxue is a student of our Cloud Peak Academy. Chuan Ning and Lin Fang went to the Black Cloud Forest with her to find treasures, but Lu Qingxue colluded with the Dark Race members, and Chuan Ning and Lin Fang narrowly escaped death in the end. Chuan Ning and Lin Fang returned to the Cloud Peak Academy and recounted all this. The Cloud Peak Academy was very angry. Our Cloud Peak Academy was founded by the Warrior Alliance and must never collude with the Dark Race members, but Lu Qingxue did so. As soon as he said this, the people of the Huangjiang Academy were instantly in a great uproar. Chapter 156. Lu Qingxue colluded with the Dark Race members. Lu Qingxue colluded with the Dark Race members? The students of the Huangjiang Academy all knew very well who Lu Qingxue was. Last year, she was the #1 genius in the Huangjiang-based city, had an S-grade talent, and entered the Cloud Peak Academy as a Tier 1 evolved being. Lu Qingxue was beside the head of the Lu family, Lu Xinghe. Everyone in the Lu family was dumbfounded and looked at Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue is from your Huangjiang-based city. You should give us an explanation, Shen Wen said coldly. When the students of the Huangjiang Academy heard this, they all began to discuss. I didn't expect Lu Qingxue to be such a person. She actually colluded with the Dark Race members. She's really disgraced our Huangjiang-based city. Lu Qingxue is the #1 genius of the last batch. She carries the hope of the future of the Huangjiang-based city. How can she do this? I'm afraid Lu Qingxue is doomed this time. She colluded with the Dark Race members, and the evidence is conclusive. This is a capital offense. Some of the thousands of students in Huangjiang Academy were happy, and some sighed. Lu Qian and Su Sinner panicked and hurriedly ran to Lu Qingxue. Sister, is what the recruiter said true? Lu Qian looked at Lu Qingxue and asked quickly. Lu Qingxue didn't know how to answer. She didn't want to answer either, because no matter what she said, the 2 recruiters of the Cloud Peak Academy wouldn't believe her. Qingxue. Lu Xinghe shouted coldly at Lu Qingxue. He really didn't expect his daughter to collude with the Dark Race. He didn't believe it at first, but seeing that Lu Qingxue didn't speak, he knew that it was true. The Dark Race had created the zombie virus, and 70% of the human race had become zombies. If it was true, not to mention the Cloud Peak Academy, even he Lu Xinghe wouldn't show mercy. Alas, Su Changfeng sighed heavily. He certainly appreciated Lu Qingxue, but he never expected it to be like this. Lu Qingxue suddenly wanted to laugh. Even if Cloud Peak Academy didn't believe her, her father should. Since she was young, she had known that good and evil were against each other and would fight forever. Now please hand over Lu Qingxue, Shendu said again. Lu Qingxue didn't say anything during this period. She slowly got up and walked to the front desk. Her slender back looked so lonely and sad. Lu Qingxue had just taken a few steps when a strong hand pressed her shoulder. I'm here. A carefree voice entered Lu Qingxue's ears. Lu Qingxue shivered as if she had been electrocuted. She had heard this in the Black Cloud Forest. At that time, when she looked at the holes that emitted evil aura, Yili said this to her. Lu Qingxue slowly looked back at the person in front of her. The young man in front of her gave her a faint smile, which looked really warm. Senior you. Yili gestured for Lu Qingxue to stop talking. Everyone present in the Huangjiang Academy was shocked to see this scene. Who is this person? How dare he stand up for Lu Qingxue in such a situation? He seems to be the boy sitting beside Elder Su. Interesting. I can see who this boy is. He can actually sit beside Elder Su. In the auditorium, the people from the big clans in Huangjiang-based city all looked at Yili. Lu Xinghe was stunned. He really didn't understand why Yili did this. Could there be another hidden reason? Su Changfeng put on a smile and said slowly, Mr. Yi, I really can't see through you. With that, Su Changfeng closed his eyes and rested. Chapter 157 I am the Dark Race member said to collude with Lu Qingxue. The two recruiters from the Cloud Peak Academy were a little stunned to see this. Shen Du sneered and shouted at Yi Li, You want to save the damsel in distress? But Lu Qingxue colluded with the Dark Race. Shen Du and Leng Yu would never have thought that they could see a hero saving a damsel in distress show under such circumstances. However, if he wanted to save Lu Qingxue, he had to see if he had the strength. After all, he was facing the entire Cloud Peak Academy. Yi Li smiled faintly. There was no fluctuation on his handsome face at all. At the moment when everyone in the Huangjiang Academy was shocked, he activated his swift steps and instantly arrived on the stage. How was that possible? Everyone in the Huangjiang Academy gasped. Yi Li went from the auditorium to the stage too quickly. The entire process took less than a second. Shen Du and Leng Yu were also shocked. They had never seen such speed before. But they immediately stabilized themselves because behind them was the Cloud Peak Academy. Although you are very fast, Lu Qingxue colluding with the Dark Race members is a capital offense. Do you want to offend the entire Cloud Peak Academy? Shen Du stared at Yi Li and said coldly. Yi Li shook his head slowly. He didn't speak, and his handsome face was still indifferent. Do you want to enter our Cloud Peak Academy? Leng Yu also said. Yi Li smiled and looked at Leng Yu indifferently. I really admire your imagination. Then why did you hold Lu Qingxue's shoulder to prevent her from coming to us? Leng Yu said coldly. Yi Li looked at the ground, and then at the sun in the sky. After a few seconds, he slowly said, Actually, one just want to say that I'm the member of the Dark Race who is said to collude with Lu Qingxue. What? As soon as Yi Li said this, everyone present at the Huangjiang Academy froze like a clay sculpture. They would never have dreamed that Yi Li would say such a thing. Mr. Yi is from the Dark Race? Lu Xinghe said in shock. Su Changfeng opened his eyes, which glowed. A few seconds later, his face fell silent again. Dad, is Mr. Yi from the Dark Race? Su Yao looked at Su Changfeng in shock. Su Changfeng shook his head slowly. Let's continue watching. Su Changfeng didn't believe it. He firmly believed that Yi Li wasn't a member of the Dark Race. He had seen too many members of the Dark Race in his life. Unless the sky collapsed, otherwise, it was impossible that Yi Li was a member of the Dark Race. When the two recruiters of the Cloud Peak Academy, Shen Du and Leng Yu, heard Yi Li's words, they were so shocked that they took 3 steps back and looked at Yi Li in horror. What did you say? Shen Du looked at Yi Li in shock. Yi Li looked a little bored. One said, I'm the member of the Dark Race who is said to collude with Lu Qingxue. You. Shen Du and Leng Yu widened their eyes. They didn't expect the Dark Race to appear here. And Yi Li looked too much like a human. No matter how they thought about it, they wouldn't associate Yi Li with the Dark Race. By the way, my name is Yi Li. I'm going to save Lu Qingxue now. Any questions? Yi Li looked at Shen Du and Leng Yu indifferently. Silence, dead silence. Yi Li activated the 2nd level of the Ancient Devil Tome, and the entire Huangjiang Academy was already enveloped by demonic aura. The thousands of students of the Yellow River Academy were horrified. They even held their breath, because every time they took a breath, they could feel their souls trembling. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.